Have you ever been out walking and stopped in your tracks because you see a black cat that's crossing your path, crossing right in front of you? Or gotten chills at night because you hear an owl hooting in the distance? Well, if you have, we're going to talk about why. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English on Autopilot. And this is the second video of our Superstition series. This video is all about animals. Animals have been with us for centuries as pets and, of course, in nature and wildlife. But they also have many different meanings behind them as well. And they have for centuries and centuries and centuries. Throughout human history, animals have been more than pets and more than nature. They've been seen as omens, telling you if something bad is going to happen or if something is good is going to happen. They've been seen as gatekeepers to the spirit world to enter across to a world that's not real, that's a world that's not like ours, that's filled with spirits and ghosts. Animals can either be lucky or unlucky. And today we're going to start by talking about cats. Now, cats in many different cultures have many different meanings. Of course, today in many Western cultures, like in the United States, a black cat crossing your path is seen as unlucky. If a black cat walks in front of you, it can mean that bad luck is coming your way. However, my family, we have a black cat, and I think she brings us a lot of good luck, even though sometimes she can be a little mean. But that's okay, because she can also be very sweet. However, these black cats and their bad omen that they bring that we talk about in society go back all the way to medieval times with kings and queens and castles and things like that. And the reason why black cats are associated with bad luck is because back then, in that time period, they were related to people associated them with witches. They thought that they could work with witches or that even witches shapeshifted, turned into cats at night. So, because of that, we associate them with bad luck. However, many cultures associate them with good luck. For example, all the way back in ancient Egypt, cats were revered, cats were celebrated, and if you killed a cat, it could be punishable, it could have been punishable by death. So, cats were sacred in ancient Egypt and even mummified, just like pharaohs. They were worshipped and treated very, very well. And when you think of ancient Egypt, it's not uncommon to think of cats along with it. In Japan, it's also considered good luck to see cats, especially a black cat for single women. It's an omen for them that says they're likely to find a suitor, to find a partner in the near future. So for them, a single woman in Japan, for a black cat to walk in front of them, they're going to think the exact opposite than someone might in the United States, where good luck is coming and possibly love. In colonial America, back about 300 years ago, or a little over 300 years ago, when the majority of the United States was colonized by European countries like England and France, well, they had a very strange superstition with cats. They believed that cats could steal the breath out of a baby's mouth and, of course, would kill it. I think now we have a little science of why sometimes babies die without causes, known as SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Of course, back then, where science was still coming back to life after the Renaissance period, they had not advanced that far, and so they attributed those sudden deaths to the cats. Next up, let's discuss birds. Birds, like cats, are seen across many different cultures, and depending on the cultures, could bring good luck or bad luck. Now, in India, Latin America, and a few other places as well, owls are signs of bad luck. Owls are not good luck. If you hear an owl hooting in the distance, hoo, hoo, it's not a good sign in those places of the world. As well as ancient Rome. When people saw owls, they saw them as signs of someone going to die soon. Someone will die soon. A very bad omen. And in fact, Julius Caesar, one of the most famous ancient Romans, people believe that an owl predicted his death. I don't know about that, but that's what they believe. However, going back a little further before ancient Rome, we look at ancient Greece, and the owl was a symbol for Athena. Athena was the goddess of wisdom, of war, but more of strategy of war. Mostly she was known for being the goddess of wisdom. Athena was extremely smart, and the owl is one of her symbols. So, in ancient Greece, an owl had a completely different meaning. Now, let's talk about ravens and crows, these black birds that nowadays we see as a bad sign. Movies like uh, The Birds does not have pigeons in it, right? It's these black, evil birds. And normally they're seen as terrible luck. We can think of Edgar Allan Poe's very, very famous poem, The Raven, which again is a very dark, mysterious poem, not a happy, joyous poem. However, in Norse mythology, Odin had two ravens that went around the world and collected information for him and talked to him and were almost like his advisors as well. So, just like Athena, the raven in that time period were seen as good luck. We're seen as more than good luck. We're seen as wisdom. Now, let's talk about dogs. Man's best friend. Dogs in today's world are seen as positive things. They're our friends. They live at home with us. But in Britain, in the UK, they have a old myth about a black dog that was in graveyards, cemeteries, that was also an omen of death. Any of you that have seen Harry Potter might know where J.K. Rowling, the author, got inspiration in the third book about the Grim. The Grim, this big black dog that if you saw it meant that you were going to die very soon. It's very probable that J.K. Rowling was inspired by this ancient, maybe not even ancient, by this British myth. No, because obviously J.K. Rowling is a British author. However, in the United States, there's no myths surrounding dogs. We love dogs, and many families have them, including my own. Now, let's talk a little bit about snakes. Snakes themselves can be scary, right? For me, I don't really like snakes. And in the Christian religion, snakes are associated with the devil, with Satan, who turned into a snake and entered the Garden of Eden, that spoke to Eve, who then took a bite of the apple of knowledge, which of course is what was the catalyst, the start of death and misery in the human world. However, in Hinduism, it's the complete opposite. Snakes are seen as protectors and are a part of the underworld, but in a way where they protect the underworld. And they're seen as very, very sacred creatures. So, the complete opposite. As you can see, these myths and these superstitions vary drastically depending on the culture, where the snake can be seen as the worst symbol in the Christian religion, whereas in the Hindu religion, it's the exact opposite. Now, since we're on the topic of animals that are maybe a little scary, that maybe are not very nice to see, the spider, the humble spider, who really works hard to keep insects out of your house, right? The spider gets a bad rap. People don't like spiders, but spiders are very useful. In Europe, there's two different omens that are related with spiders, two different superstitions. If you see a spider in the morning, it brings bad luck. However, when you see a spider in the evening or at night, it means good fortune is on your way. So remember, in the morning, we don't want to see spiders, but at night, it's very good to see them. And even if you see that spider indoors at night, do not kill it because the superstition is that if you kill a spider inside, indoors, it can bring rain or misfortune, bad luck. There's another animal that I think we should cover before we end this video, and that's the butterfly or the moth. In Japan, people believe that if you see a butterfly or a moth in your room, it's because a loved one that passed away, that has died, that's no longer here, is coming back to visit you. To me, I think that's a beautiful myth, a beautiful superstition. I think that's a lovely way to think of butterflies and moths. On top of that, I love butterflies because they're very beautiful creatures. Now, as we've seen in this video, superstitions related to animals vary around the world, whether it's cats, owls, dogs, spiders, snakes. All of those can be different depending on where you are. Put it in the comments below if your culture has any superstitions related to animals and whether you believe in them or not. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, put a thumbs up, subscribe to keep watching this series, and the next one we're going to talk about numbers. Numbers that can bring misfortune or fortune. Everyone have a good day, good weekend, good week whenever you're watching this video, and we'll see each other in the next one. Bye!